Hello, my name is Alissa.
And I'm Britt.
And this is Skeletales.
This is the podcast that asks the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
So, Britt, you know when you pose as a European heiress and then you try to rip off a bunch of people and wealthy people and integrate New York social high society and steal a lot of money from bankers?
I mean, it's just like every Wednesday for me, but whatever.
Yeah, Grandma saw it. Let me try another more relatable one.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
You know, when you steal your neighbor's cat for 6 months and kidnap it and call it, change its name and don't let them have it back.
I knew that's what happened. That cat was way too well behaved to be a stray.
Grandma saw that. All I could come up with are very highly specific things that I'm ashamed from. No, I have nothing to do with pretending I'm a socialite, but I did watch that Inventing Anna.
Oh, your poor cat. Did you have to return it?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, yeah, we didn't. Oh my gosh. I haven't told you about Sparks/Badger.
No.
Sparks Badger. No?
Sparky Badgers. Well, when I was visiting you last year, I met Sparks.
Oh, and he was like the handsomest cat in the world. And such a sweetie.
Sweetest cat ever. I was like, this cat's a stray. Cool. Lucky. Oh no, not a stray.
Not a stray. I invented a whole scenario for him. I was like, oh, those people down the road, I think they got evicted. They must have just abandoned their cat. Just kicked him out. That cat was for sure an indoor cat. We made him stay outside the duration of the 6 months. I felt very guilty for the whole entire time. But we couldn't find any, like, our neighbors had put up an ad on Nextdoor. No one claimed him. Like, I looked on the Facebook pages. I looked places and I'm like, how is no one looking for this cat?
Yeah.
And then he even got stuck freaking up so far up in this tree right
he
before
was
I was
unfamiliar with outdoor nature, did not know how to behave.
Exactly. Right before my 3-week journey I was going on, the day before, and right before a huge windstorm, got way stuck up in a tree. Long story short, we were kind of getting our wits' end of feeling like it feels abusive to keep this poor cat outside any longer. Are we going to have to let him be an indoor cat despite allergies and whatnot? Uh-huh. And I did a deep dive. I was in 30 pages deep on some random Paws R Us website, this little profile. It wasn't even straight on pictures. It was a sideways profile picture. And I was like, oh my God, that looks like Sparks. The neighbors thought he was dead. He's from freaking Africa. He is a stray cat in Africa. They moved to the neighborhood immediately, and someone let him out accidentally. He escaped. He went to a neighbor's house. The neighbor transported him over to our house because their dogs were attacking him and they were scared for his life. Then, so he had been from Africa to America, then to Saudi Arabia, and then back here. So they'd already done all this fucking quarantine shit, all this stuff to get this cat across the ocean with them, only to have him run away like day one as soon as they got here.
Oh,
so
no.
They didn't get on Nextdoor. They weren't on Nextdoor when the lost cat post went up. And what did all their neighbors, all the old timey neighbors in our neighborhood tell them?
Put it in the newspaper.
No, they're like, he's gone. He's gone. Give up. Give up. He's dead. Yep. A coyote got him. Bobcat, coyote, mountain lion, bear.
Those are the dicks that are on asshole.
On Nextdoor.
On Nextdoor, yeah.
I like that.
That's the new app. Asshole.
Asshole.
That's where all the dicks from Nextdoor can just go to asshole app.
So anyway, so they didn't even post because they're like, our cat's dead. The poor thing. He has no streetwise. He's dead. Okay. We were able to provide a Christmas miracle and reunite Sparks with his family who named him Badger. And they were shocked. It was like he came back from the dead and they missed him so much. And he had a sister.
Oh, man. Badger is like pleased as shit right now, Sparks Badger.
Oh,
Just
God.
like cozying by the fire. He's like, awesome. No more cold garage for me. This
Exactly.
is life.
Oh, he would break in all the time and curl up in the beds. We'd find him like all over, and it was becoming a problem.
He's like, I'm used to this lifestyle,
Yes.
people. Don't you understand?
Exactly. Anyway, so Grandma saw that whole
Thanks,
thing.
Grandma. You know what? Maybe Grandma instigated all that shit. Maybe Grandma was the one that was like pushing that next page, page 30. Yes, this is the one. Guiding you, guiding your eyeballs.
I don't know. Maybe a small part of me didn't want to find the owners. And Grandma knew that because he was so sweet.
I'm proud of you. Christmas miracles.
Hey, Britt, do we just talk about being fake heiresses and stealing cats from neighbors?
We talk about tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, yeah, I did it again. I do it without even thinking, the little singing song.
I tried to find an audio clip for that, and I couldn't. You'll have to do it on piano and send it to me or something. I tried to put it in last time.
I'll get out my recorder.
Wait a minute. That's not what I agreed to. That's not what I agreed to.
I've got some good stories tonight. Spooky dooky shit. What do you have?
I think I got some spooky dooky shit. Is it spooky? It's more in the strange and unusual category.
Ooh,
and also having to do with death and dying because I'm obsessed. Apparently.
We are all obsessed. We didn't talk about who's going to go first, though. Do you want to?
I have 2 stories.
Oh, I have
do you
3, so I should go first.
You go
then,
first.
Okay.
Yes.
Tonight, you will be hearing tales of haunted houses from me. Technically, it's not from me. I'm just retelling them from other people who've shared them with me.
How do we even live in houses anymore after hearing all these spooky stories?
It's so
go
good.
live in the woods.
You're going to want to the woods are awful. Awful too.
Awful. Tent.
Awful.
All the other options are terrible. I guess
I guess we're
it is.
stuck with the houses. Okay. This story comes from Melissa. She says, I was changing my 2-year-old son and noticed some claw-like marks on him. So I asked him who hurt him. He tells me, the monster hurt me, Mommy. Off to a brilliant start, can we just say?
Oh.
So I asked, where is the monster? And he points in the corner of the room. Now, this freaked me out because for the past 5 months, I've been woken up in the middle of the night to find him looking in the corner and talking as if someone was talking back to him. So I brushed it off and set him down for his nap, trying not to make a big deal of it since I know the more attention you give it, the more it feeds off that. 2 hours later, I walk into the room and find him looking at the same corner, talking to no one. He looks up at me and points at the corner and says, look at my friend, Mommy. No sooner does he say that than the full-length mirror on the door falls right off, shattering. I had to bite my tongue and keep from screaming. Now, a little backstory. My house is 150 years old. I lived here ever since I was a child, and I've always had a very dark, terrible feeling wash over me in certain parts of the house. The basement is where I feel it the worst. Even as a child, I would hate going down in the basement. I can't keep my back to the boiler room because I feel so uneasy, as if something is behind me in there. I've had that feeling in other places as well, like cemeteries and stuff. I got into all of this because of my past experiences as a child living in this house. I ended up having a priest come over and he did his thing. The activity seemed to slow down for a few days, but now it started back up again. I can't explain it, but when it started back up, I felt like a surge of anger rushed through me. I'm not sure why, because I wasn't angry at the time, and I'm still feeling that dark, ominous vibe. 2 nights ago, I had my 2-year-old in his high chair eating dinner. He was facing the window. All of a sudden, he just starts screaming, "The monster, Mommy, the monster!" And he began to shake in terror. So I quickly scooped him up and held on to him. He was clinging to me for dear life. He started to turn beet red and hyperventilate because of how scared he was. I eventually got to him calmed down and slept with him the rest of the night. But it was weird because he refused to talk the rest of the night. He wouldn't say a word. The next night, he tells me that his mouth hurts because the monster hurt him. So I made sure to keep him with me the entire night, not letting him out of my sight. I'll be damned if this thing hurts my baby again. Now, this morning, I had taken my dog out and was standing by the side of the house keeping an eye on my dog when I heard my basement door open and heavy footsteps descend the stairs. I thought this was weird because everyone was still in bed sleeping. So I ran inside and called out, asking if anyone was there. No answer. I went and checked, and sure enough, everyone was still in bed. At this point, I think I'm going to get us a hotel room while I have my priest come back and do whatever he needs to do. So then she keeps sending me updates, and this most recent update, she writes, I came back to the house this morning to get some more things from our hotel room. I was about 3 feet from this glass cabinet I have in my room when it opened and a book flew out and knocked me right in the head. I've started to gather evidence for my priest in case we need more help than he can provide. In the meantime, I'm trying to minimize our time in the house and we'll be staying in a hotel room for at least the week.
A week?
Maybe forever. You have to get a posse of priests for this haunted as hell house, right? The monster hurt me? Oh my God.
A cadre of what is a group of priests called?
Were you going to say a cadre of priests?
A cadre? Is that like a cadre of padres?
I like that.
Cadre of padres. But I was like, is it a monastery? I don't know. Okay, again, not what we need to be talking about. Few things. One, corner of the room. Why? Well, we know always a corner, freakiest place it could be. She said something about the more attention you give it, the more active it will go. Like it feeds off your fear and whatnot. Is that
I've heard this before. It's almost, and the talking about it too.
Yeah.
Like if you talk about it, you're like giving it attention and giving it power. Yeah, I have heard that before. I mean, valid. I don't know.
I'm wondering if I'm just so aloof and oblivious. I just don't give anyone the time of day, let alone spirits and monsters in the corner I can't even see.
Oh
right?
My God. Like this is not like a friendly ghost.
No, the baby's mouth hurt from the monster. What the hell is he doing to the mouth of the baby? Stop it, monster. That's not okay.
Seeing? Oh my God. What are they talking about?
I don't know. How old did they say the house was? 150 years?
150. And she grew up there as a kid. She was there too. But
did she have experiences as a kid? She just always, there were the spots that she thought were creepy and stuff, but never anything paranormal.
I think that's what it was, is just feeling scared and creepy in certain places.
Books haven't been flying off shelves and mirrors haven't been breaking the whole time. Maybe.
And at this, it's getting stronger. Like she's hearing it stomp down the stairs. Oh, what? It's what?
Maybe it's her baby. Maybe it's the baby who brought it. It tagged along with the baby when the baby arrived in the house.
Demon baby?
And maybe they're trying to exorcise the wrong place. Oh, because
demon baby wouldn't be talking to its demon self.
Maybe it's like the evil twin that like got absorbed.
Is that from a movie?
Into the baby. No, I probably. I hope so. I imagine.
Okay, I think a more plausible theory is the first priest who came in and was like, sure. I cleared the place. You're good. Actually was sprinkling like demon water because it got worse after that priest, right?
Well, okay. I mean, no, because if it's a demon, it hates priests. It's like, fuck that. Or it like hurt it. And so now it's angry.
Now
it just
I'm
injured
angry.
it. Now it's mad because of the Holy Spirit that was exposed to.
That makes more sense than demon baby.
But yeah, well, I'm not saying the baby's a demon. I'm saying maybe the demon hitched the ride with the baby.
Or maybe the youth, we know that young ones have just more connection with that realm, if you will. So like maybe this demon's been here the whole time, but finally there's a voice to like announce its presence.
Yeah, well, because she was a girl there though, but never, maybe she doesn't have the sense.
Or maybe the demon was there all along, but then she has the baby and the demon doesn't like sharing its energy, sharing its like attention with other things. So it's upset with the baby and that's hurt it. I feel so bad
maybe
for this
it's a baby. Maybe it's just a baby ghost and it's jealous of the baby in the house. And it's hurting it. I used to bite my brother when I was little.
I feel like babies aren't that strong. That's my only.
I mean, it doesn't have to be baby. It's like a toddler, another toddler. Like I'm 2 years older than my younger brother, and I'd bite him.
Toddlers
I was mad at him.
Walk very heavily footed down the stairs, louder than you would think.
It's probably not even walking. It's probably just sliding on its belly, going boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm liking this idea. If the mirror had not broken, would she have seen something in the mirror?
Ooh, I like that idea. Love, hate that idea.
It's just interesting that she's lived there forever and all of a sudden shit is flying off windows or off shelves like, and attacking the baby and stuff.
Stronger. Ooh.
Yeah. Did it come in on some groceries or something? Did she order any Amazon packages recently? Like, or a haunted object? Did she come in with anything? Did she buy anything new? Like a doll at the flea market? Maybe.
Creepy porcelain doll.
Yeah.
Whose eyes move.
Something like that. Any Ouija sessions?
Oh, I don't know. These are questions I am afraid to ask, actually.
I just make a list.
Okay.
Of all the possible weird shit that could happen.
She's like, you're crazy. I'm not sharing any more with you. Thanks, bye.
Here are our theories. 1.
Oh my God. She will not be giving us any more updates after hearing this.
Okay.
Tell her story, poor girl.
I'm just trying to solve a problem. We got to ask some questions.
Are problem solvers here.
We are. Paranormal problem solvers. That should be.
Oh, I like that rhymes. Yeah, get some badges.
Podcast. Fucking yeah, I'm a paranormal problem solver. Okay, are we ready for my story?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. It kind of has to do with children.
Ooh.
Okay, so this one is from Dr. Yared, and he says, being part of the medical community has afforded me the chance to evaluate patterns in all stages of life of people, including patterns that we see at the end of life. If you work in hospitals or have loved ones that work in hospitals or have been close to loved ones as they took their last breaths and transitioned to the great unknown, you may have heard about what I'm about to describe. There's a particular phenomena that occurs to people in those last moments, and I am talking about the appearance of kids running around their deathbed or just outside the room.
You recently heard about this.
Really?
Yes. Oh, I'm so happy that you're going to share this information.
Yeah. Okay. So he says this is to be differentiated to the phenomenon of loved ones that have passed away visiting in days prior to their deaths. This is different. This occurs hours, if not minutes before their deaths. I experience this with greater frequency whenever I work in the ICU unit where people are very sick. What most patients describe is cheerful kids running about around their beds in a playful manner, snickering around, or just playing. Most patients usually respond calling the nurse and asking, "Who are these kids running around? And where are their parents?" and scaring the living bejesus out of them if they are new nurses. If they're experienced nurses, they know the time of the end is soon to come, and they communicate promptly with us doctors to let us know to be ready. Literature often chalks this phenomenon up to the lack of oxygen in the brain or neurochemical changes in the process of death and dying. But the pattern is very recognizable and the experience is very similar across all cultural backgrounds and ages. Almost all hospitals have a story about these quote-unquote kids. And if you are entering the field of medicine, nursing, or any other health-allied profession, you will certainly hear these stories. So if you are doing rounds in the ICU late at night and hear some snickering or tiny feet running in the halls, prepare because the call of code green or code red is about to sound off in the PA system.
Oh my God, it's so good. This is so exciting to me because I recently learned of this phenomenon.
From who or where, who, what, where, when, how, why?
I read it online, but then I asked my friend who is an ER nurse and she corroborated and she said, yes. Well, she mentioned other things afterwards, but I told her that that was one of the things and she was like, definitely. Like she said that indeed that is a thing. And then I kind of went down a little rabbit hole and yeah, it some people aren't as pleasant of like, oh, there's kids. It's like, will somebody find these kids' parents? Like they'll get angry. Like, what are the children doing in the ICU right now?
Yeah.
And there was one story of a security guard who was on the ICU unit hearing the children also. He's not dying, but he is also hearing the children.
Oh, see, that's interesting. Yeah, because he was saying it's like other people outside of the person who's dying have also witnessed them. Well, so this caught my attention because my mom had told me that when my grandfather was passing away from congestive heart failure and he was in the hospital, he was complaining about like little people running around. I don't know if he specifically said children, but he's like, why are there all these little people? Like my mom was relaying it as like, yeah, he was definitely like not okay. They said he was very well oxygenated because he was having congestive heart failure. He was on oxygen and he was being released. Like they didn't think that he was going to pass away. They did not like that.
Really?
Yeah, like he was angry that my uncle had come into town because he's like, does everyone think I'm dying? I'm not dying here. But then he was also saying like, why are there all these kids here? Why are there all these little people running around?
When you say little people, I can't help but imagine midgets
I know.
running
Well,
around.
I think maybe I pictured the Wizard of Oz or circus or something. But like this was just something my mom had said in passing. Like, you could tell he had oxygen, but he kept talking about like these little people running around or something.
God.
And he went home from the hospital. Like this was all within like a couple of hours. Like he was saying this. Everyone's like, okay, he's being released. Okay, it was like a false alarm or whatever. Ends up walking into the house that he and my grandmother like bought as their vacation home, many years ago. Walked in that house and collapsed on the floor as soon as he stepped foot back in the house and he passed away. Which was horribly traumatic for my family, but at the same time, kind of beautiful. Like he just
like that. He wanted to die there and not at the hospital.
Yes, but no one thought he was like, but it did. He saw these little people within a couple hours of his death, just like the story says.
My God.
I had no idea it was a thing. Like I had no clue until I saw this. I was like, what?
Me neither. And yeah, it was probably a month ago that I heard about this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fascinating. I want to ask every single nurse, please, if you have heard of this, if it has happened to a loved one, if you are in the medical world, like shoot us an email or
Absolutely.
A phone call. Like we need to know.
Well, and then do you think this is maybe like where cherubs come from or something, like...
Oh, well, they're flying. They're not really like tromping around
That's
the
true.
hallways.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Cherubs are creepy to me. I don't like that. They're always like giving weird side-eye looks. I don't know. I can't trust them.
There's a lot. You can't trust a cherub. I've never met a cherub I could trust.
Exactly.
Like, do you think, because they also kind of all look like they're like 80 years old. but stuck in like
That's totally
baby
what it
bodies
is.
or something. Like it is a little weird.
No, like really you should be a mobster boss who's like with a cigar and a suit, not a cherub. What are you doing in a diaper?
Little wings.
Okay, so my next story comes straight from the hot box. This is from William Billy. Now, William Billy has written in before telling us about the time his grandmother gave him a lion when he was a kid. The lion got lost, but he kept finding stuffed lion toys throughout his life in difficult times in his life. And it was always a constant reminder that his grandmother was with him. Remember that?
I do, because I think he's also a Leo, right?
Yes. Good memory. Like you. Okay, quick pause. I used to live in a house on the bad side of town. Violence was a typical occurrence on my block, but that's not what made it scary. It was the fact that my house was undeniably haunted. It started with an Elmo Jack-in-the-Box toy for my little brother that would laugh whenever you turn the handle. That's laughing. God damn it, it's seriously haunting me.
It's now haunting you.
It keeps laughing. Okay.
Britt tried setting that up before this clip, and then that's like the 53rd time I've heard it now.
Turn it all the way up. Always laugh whenever it's turn the handle, and Elmo popped out of the box. Terrifying. Within a month of living there, the toy would laugh by itself without anyone touching it. Elmo popping out. We took the batteries out to see if that would help, and it did, until 2 months later when it laughed by itself with no batteries. So creepy.
That's creepy. Did you look up creepy Elmo sound clips for this?
Just Elmo laughing, and just his laugh alone is just creepy as fuck. We soon threw it out, but the weirdness didn't stop there. There was a time I got sent home early from school and was at the house by myself. I was home upstairs for about an hour when I heard my mom's voice yell for me downstairs. When I got to the living room, no one was there. By far the scariest thing that happened there was when I was in my bed, facing the wall, about to go to sleep one night. I heard my mom's voice whispering behind me, "Son," and soon saw a shadow looming over my bed. When I turned around, I saw my mom grinning at me with a twisted smile before she ran at me and screamed. I yelled, closed my eyes, and when I opened them again a few moments later, no one was there. After I calmed down, I went to her room and opened the door to see that she was sound asleep. And that's it.
I don't like anything running right at me. Stop it. All of it. That's creepy. Why is it running right at him?
And like you're supposed to love and trust your mother.
Mom. I would.
Oh.
That's like.
So this. Go ahead.
That's equivalent to like the doppelganger sort of things where like there's this weird familiarity with somebody, but then you're like, wait a minute.
It's not the real them.
Yeah.
Well, so I had heard. Well, you know, I'm just constantly bombarded in a good way by like scary stories and stuff. But it is a continual thing that I keep hearing about these mimicking ghosts, similar to the story I told
Jamesel.
At this point, Jamesel's story where his mom is yelling at Jamesels from upstairs. So similar to this. And he goes upstairs, nobody's there. And it's some people are calling it demons, but then it's a mimicking ghost. It's like some spirit that's mimicking. And so I tried to research that, and there is a video game about a mimicking ghost, and that is all that came up. It was a fruitless search because I am not Alissa. But I'm really quite fascinated by this idea. There was a paranormal investigator out there who had made a comment that was like, spirits, it takes a lot of energy for spirits to like throw a book out of a cabinet or to make a noise. And what he was saying is that because there's already the mom's energy in the house, or, his theory was with these ghosts is there's already that energy in the house from that person, that they sort of piggyback on their voice and piggyback on their energy. And that's why it happens so frequently. These like voices that match the same.
I hate that. I do. That is like one of the more unsettling things. I think that's why like part of me wants to see a ghost, but I feel like it's just playing like roulette. Like if you're going to get one of them creepy ass duplicating ghosts or something, that's like someone who I know who's alive that's just standing there creepily until they rush me, right? Or like maybe the one that maybe I want to see. I don't like I don't like that idea. I think I'd rather never see a ghost in my life than
see someone that looks like your mom with a twisted smile running at you.
Yes. That's not weird though. But like I want like, seeing a vision of my grandmother passed or something.
I know.
I mean, I think that would still be scary, but like
comforting.
Yeah, but
maybe.
Yeah, hopefully, you hear about these senses of calm where people aren't scared. They're just okay with it. And it's just a curiosity and love. Or there's this kind of freak show, twisted faced mom running straight at you, ghost standing in the corner, knee-high ghost rushing you.
Oh my God, knee-high ghost rushing you. I don't want it.
Don't want any of that. So it's like if I'm open to grandma, that means I'm open to this, right? Like that's it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like easier to be a skeptic and just believe that like it doesn't happen. So because it is just so terrifying.
Yes. Because if that happens, this happens. Like, no, it's like all or nothing, right? Do you get to choose? You're supposed to form a white bubble around you. Bubble, right?
I'm gonna do that. I like that idea. That makes sense. Like a protector.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a finale.
Yeah.
A finale
okay.
to end my story off with. It is a solid 2 minutes of Elmo
laughing. There was something trending recently about Elmo losing his shit over Zoe's pet rock. Because I think, like, I don't know, there's cookies and there's 3 cookies. And Zoe is giving a cookie to her pet rock. And Elmo's like, but it's a rock. And Zoe's like, no, it's my pet rock, Rocky. And he's like, it's just a rock, Zoe. It's a rock. And like he totally just loses his shit on this rock. Like it's just a rock. It's not a pet. It's not alive. It's just a rock. It can't eat a cookie. And freaks out. It's worth looking
that
up.
feels pretty up to times with children these day and age. Actually,
really, they're just like not taking any of that bullshit.
Freaking out.
True. That's normal. It's just a rock.
It's just a fucking rock, Zoe.
So big.
Oh my God, I'm too good at it.
Elmo! That's my Elmo voice. Oh boy. Okay. So my next story is on a similar vein to my first story.
Perfect.
So my next story is from Aaron, and he says, so I was in an accident last summer at the age of 47. I broke 3 vertebrae and crushed 1. I lost a tooth and got a concussion despite wearing a full face helmet. Numerous burns and bruises. I was pretty sedated that night, but here's what I remember. I woke up and it was dark with a blue glow from some machine. I heard a little girl speak to me from the closet at my head. She said, "Hey, go ahead and go if you want." I said, "What?" I felt safe and I thought I could trust her. She poked her head out of the closet. She was skinny, white, and had long brown hair that hadn't been brushed in a while, and was wearing...
It was Alissa.
I'm like, wait a minute. What's coming next? And was wearing a blue short sleeve shirt. She was maybe 7 or 8. She said, yeah, just go. It's fine. So I said, shit, all right, I guess I'll go. I'm out of here. I thought she meant home. I started trying to sit up and really struggled with it. I got one leg over the side, and a male nurse or someone came in from the room facing me. I think there may have been a glass booth he was in. He's like, oh, what are you doing? Like, kind of in a way that he suggested I shouldn't have been able to physically do it, or he was shocked I was awake. Okay, that was not the voice I just did.
I like that the nurse is a super stoner from Beach Bum.
So he was more like,
what
are you doing? Is that better?
That's good. I like it.
I told him what happened and pointed at the closet. He laid me back down and told me to stay there. I laid awake waiting for her and just thinking before I went back to sleep. I stayed there for 6 days before being moved and discharged shortly after. A month at home, and I went right back to work. I'm fine today. As expected, my back hurts when I overdo it. I don't have feeling in my right hand, middle finger from burns, and I have a ton of cool burn scars and other scars. And I got a new tooth, too. Anyway, that's my story.
Nice. Oh, man.
And he wants to give a disclaimer that he says, P.S. I've been riding motorcycles since I was 12. I've always worn a helmet, had some close calls, but never had an accident. I didn't think it could happen to me. I rode everything on the road from big touring bikes to loud Harleys. My last road bike was a GSXR. I didn't feel as safe on the road anymore due to dipshits on the road, so I sold them all and bought an on/off-road bike. I was zipping the trails doing about 30 miles per hour and decided to be a badass and try a jump that was upcoming. That's all I remember until some dude came along and he was yelling at me to get up. A bunch of trail riders found me and brought me to a road where my wife picked me up and took me to the hospital. The end.
Oh, that's how it happened. It wasn't on the street.
No, but he just people came upon him. Like he could have been just sitting there forever until
wouldn't even know. But then they yelled at him like, "Get up!" And
like
he had a broken back.
Yeah, you're in my way.
Did you not see his half burnt body and missing tooth?
I forgot. That was me. I was like, walk it off, bro. Blocking the trail. But yeah, so a little girl is like,
okay,
get out of here.
You're not going to like my theory. He was just stoned as fuck. He was on all the pain medication.
What?
Right?
What is happening?
But that is pretty detailed.
We flipped roles at the beginning of this podcast.
I know.
And now
I know.
Britt's embracing it. No, that is one possibility. There's also these experiences though too with I think, haven't I told you about these before? The ICU delusions and what do they call it? Is it ICU psychosis? It's ICU delirium, I think.
Okay.
I think that's it. That 80% of ICU patients have very vivid lifelike hallucinations. And they're seeing a lot of it right now with COVID because so many people are in the ICU and intubated and stuff like that. And there's accounts of people thinking that they are in China in prison camps being experimented on weird hospitals, just elaborate scenarios. They're being held hostage there that they can't escape. This is a little different.
I do remember you talking about that.
Okay.
Well, and then, us talking about how dreams are kind of maybe this window into the, is it a past life thing that they're actually seeing, or are they just all doped up on all the drugs?
Right. But was she saying you can leave, get out of the hospital, or you can leave your body and go on up to the heavens and leave this earth? And she's just poking herself out.
Cool, I'm going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just poking her head out of the closet hey,
guy.
If you want.
Hey, guess what? You can leave. And I like that he trusted the child's word of advice over doctors.
I love this.
Well, maybe
Stoner bro nurse is like, bro, you can't leave.
Bro, dude.
He's like, man, the
Bro.
girl in the closet says I can. I got permission, man.
She gave me the go-ahead, man. Discharge.
Yeah, but that sounds brutal and painful. He did send along a few hospital pics that I'm glad he's dealing with just a little bit of a backache at times because it looks brutal. It's not like he's like jacked up and trying to get out of bed in the state he is. It did not look like it was a comfortable thing to be doing.
Bodies are amazing.
It is. They are. It's still a child appearing in an ICU. Maybe he was on the brink of death and maybe the other children were coming and she was like the scout and be like, bro, get out of here while you can. They're coming.
And then she was going to give her like other closet little children friend. He's going. Come on, kids.
And they all just start pouring out of the closet.
That's
chasing after him.
The running children. They're in the closets in hospitals. Solved.
Done. Do you have another story?
I got one last story for us. So as I went down the rabbit hole of mimic ghosts, I came across Fiona's story. So she didn't send this in. I found it on my own, and it's a good one. All right.
I like her name.
Fiona says, my family and I lived in a house that had mimics. It was about 15 years ago. It mimicked the sound of my husband coming home from work. His whistling as he came in through the front stairs, opened, shut the door, took off his work boots. Clunk, clunk. Okay, maybe I should stop the sound effects. Went into the kitchen and made a pot of coffee.
Keep going. You can keep. Oh, go.
Oh. I could hear all the sound of him tapping out the old coffee filters, turning on the water, etc. Then I heard him fill the kettle as if to make me a cup of tea. Now that was out of character. So I got up. I'd been trying to get my 2-year-old son to nap and checked the kitchen. No husband. It wasn't even time for him to get off of work. My 2-year-old had even heard him as well. A few months later, I was at a workshop and my husband stayed home from work to watch our son. Same exact thing. He was trying to get our son to nap and they both heard me come home, proceed to the kitchen to make a cup of coffee and tea. He said that it sounded exactly like me, my steps, me hanging up my coat, etc. But of course, when he came down to see me, I wasn't there. Then one night, my husband woke me up because our son was crying in our room. He insisted that I go get him because he was lazy, but also very chicken of our house at night. When I got to my son's bedroom, my son had already gotten out of bed and was in the process of opening his door. I kind of opened it, but slowly so that I wouldn't knock him over. As I opened it, I saw him in a white nightgown, just for a second. But actually, he didn't sleep in white nightgowns. He slept in Spider-Man pajamas, and he was fast asleep in bed. In the instant that I saw him, he disappeared and the crying stopped. My husband and I were awake for a long time after that, totally freaked out. The house never felt negative, but it was very active. Someone walked around the house every single night for the 2 years that we lived there. Toys would always turn on at about 2 in the morning. Elmo! I'm Elmo! Elmo! Night-night. Things would disappear, then reappear, and we could hear a newborn baby crying in the house, but could never pinpoint where it was. So many other things happened there, but I can't even remember. But it was constantly active, to the point that when I think back on it, I wonder why it wasn't more of a big deal, and why didn't I try to get a paranormal team in there? Our landlord sold the house after we moved. I drove by it a few times, wanting to go knock on the door and ask the new owners if they were experiencing anything, but I was too worried about freaking them out. The house got knocked down about 4 years after we moved out. Well, I mean, I think that answers the question of if she
Haunted as shit.
thought it was haunted,
Too haunted.
right?
Knock it down.
And then she goes on to mention that actually while they lived in the house, they had incredibly good luck. Their relationship was good. They were making good money. They got out of debt. They saved up. They bought their own house. So all in all, it was really good vibes.
Yeah, good juju. That's probably why she wasn't too freaked out about it. It's like, let's not
Yeah,
mess.
no big deal.
Yeah, good
I
energy.
can deal with some like stomping and baby crying in the middle of the night, you know, if we're making good money.
Yeah, right? It's a trade-off.
I
Selling their
guess.
soul. It's just sapping them. Okay. The kid is wearing white pajamas. The ghost kid. This gives me
Yes.
hope that there is a wardrobe change and that we are always like, oh, are we just going to be wearing like a tank top and flannel pajama bottoms when we're ghosts?
Oh.
Maybe we all get that old timey look, and I'm into it. I would take that. A nice flowy
it's like,
comfort.
all right, here's
gown.
your wardrobe collection to choose from. It's all white nightgowns.
Yes, exactly.
This one has a high collar. This one has an extra flowy bottom.
I love
It's
this. And
just
here's your closet, and it's just all flowy white
all
nightgowns.
fucking white nightgowns.
I'm okay with it. It's like a moo-moo. That sounds like comfort, eternal comfort.
Honestly, eternal comfort, my jam. I'm into it.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
And then I also, speaking of the young parents, and I have a tip for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
When your kids are trying to learn how to whistle, have your boys figured out how to whistle yet?
Liam has, Ellis has not.
Okay, my tip is to just postpone that shit for as long as possible.
Oh,
You
no.
give them
It's
false
haunting.
information. Be like, oh, you just like,
Stick your tongue out while you're doing
just
it. That's what
you just
do.
stick your tongue out. It's all in like the teeth. That whistling, it's all in the teeth. Odin has learned how to whistle, and it is like it's equivalent to a fire alarm beeping. Like it is the highest.
He's not
pitch.
learning tunes?
There's tunes, there's rhythm, I suppose,
It's
but
just
there's
constantly like,
the highest pitch. Yes,
oh, that's really
yes,
breathy.
because he's little still. Yes, the highest. Your face right now.
Mom, I'm whistling. We don't talk about Bruno. You can tell, right?
Exactly.
Don't you hear it? Don't you hear it, Mom?
Yes, but now he just like it's almost he might be addicted to whistling. I don't know if there's anything like that. I'm like, dude, you got to bring that pitch down. It is like a dog whistle, like just all the time, all the time, and we have to be like Odin.
I love this
Odin.
about Odin.
Oh my god! Well, you can come.
Okay, this
Hang
is my tip for you.
Okay.
Get a cup and say, this is your whistling cup. You have to whistle in the cup. I think it'll nip it in the bud. Here, I don't have a cup. Shit.
So he's got to carry
Right,
this
this will
cup
mimic it.
around constantly.
Well, it'll make it just less high pitchy.
He's not even aware.
See, look how pleasant that
That is.
sounded.
But he's not even aware he's doing it, Brett. He's not even aware
Oh, he loves
he's
to
doing it.
whistle
It is
so
now at the point of
much.
just like, yeah, he is not even aware of it. It's real fun. Anyway, so yeah.
I
Why
like
did
that
there
sidetrack.
must have been a whistling? What did she talk about whistling?
when her husband came, well, the mimic of her husband came home. This does kind of like corroborate that paranormal investigator's comment though about the energy of like spirits piggybacking on the homeowner's energy and just copying their sounds.
Yeah.
Although it is a strange haunting, like pretending to make coffee. And it's a nice one because it's like, I'm going to make the wife some tea. And she's like, wait a minute, something strange is afoot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's
not
nice.
my
And he's like,
husband.
bullshit.
He'd
Hold on,
never
you
do
fucked
that.
up ghost. There was when the pandemic first started, there's a bowling alley fairly near to my house that people were reporting that when it was empty because the pandemic, no one could go there. Employees were hearing the sounds of pins crashing, of like crashing pins even though nobody was there. They're like, it's haunted.
The residual haunting.
Yeah. So
I love that.
like it just gets into this groove because it's always chaos in a bowling alley. But yeah, that's I don't know. That's a very interesting, fairly harmless one. That seems nice.
Well, they were, it seemed like they were very pleased to be around it.
Yeah, I would take that haunted house. See, I'm like fair weather. I'm like, I would take that. That sounds nice. That's not so bad. No, seeing my child dressed in a white gown in the middle of the night might not be the happiest thing.
Yeah, that would freak me out. The baby crying in the middle of the night. I'm not down for that. But like a ghost can make me some tea. I'd be cool.
I just like that her overall vibe was cool. But then they tore down the house.
Oh,
Too haunted.
Maybe. Too haunted for those other people, for sure.
Isn't there something where you have to disclose that a house is haunted or something? Like,
no, I asked a realtor recently about that.
Really?
And she said, well, I do think it could vary state by state, but in the 2 states that three, because Louisiana asked about that. You do not have to disclose that. Or, fun fact, in the state of Oregon, if there is a murder in the house, they do not have to disclose it. If you come out and specifically ask, was someone murdered here? I don't think they can lie to you.
Yeah.
But they don't have to disclose it. So
yeah, because I think it's a stigmatized property in some states.
Blood splatters on the wall from a murder?
Ah, shit.
Well, since you asked, in fact, yes. Alissa, you told some incredible stories tonight.
Britt, you told some incredible stories.
You rocked it. You killed it.
If you want to write in and tell us who told better stories tonight, you could do that.
Why does it have to be a competition?
It doesn't have to be. I'm just trying to transition.
Sometimes we just love a good email. You can write into our hot box. That is
skeletalespodcast@gmail.com. Or you could give us a call on our hotline.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. We love phone calls and emails.
Heck yeah.
But if you're lazy and on social media, you can just DM us over there. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. On Instagram, you can hit up our link tree that has our merch shop there where you can get t-shirts, notebooks, buttons, coming soon, dream journals, all sorts of really awesome stuff that you want to flaunt around. Stickers. I think we're even actually giving away free stickers on our merch shop because we don't know how to make money.
No, sure don't. We talk about it. We know how to talk about it. Execution is a little bit of
oh my gosh, there was one more thing I wanted to tell you tonight. Oh my god, Alissa, it's real good. Okay. Haunt y'all later.
Oh, How did I fall for it? I'm so embarrassed. I was like so settling in for like a really good juicy
Got you. So
story.
good.
Damn it.
Boom.
Haunt you later.